Once upon a time, in a vast forest, where sunlight filtered gently through tall trees, there lived a young eagle named Aro. He was born high on a rocky cliff, where the wind sang loudly and endlessly. From the moment he opened his eyes, he could see the sky stretching far beyond his nest. The elders said eagles were meant to rule the skies. Aro believed this with all his heart when he was young. He imagined himself soaring higher than clouds, faster than storms. But as he grew older, doubt quietly entered his life, because every eagle around him seemed stronger, braver, and faster. There was Kale, who learned to fly early and fearlessly. There was Mira, whose wings cut through the air like blades, and many others who were praised daily by the elders. Aro listened from a distance, saying nothing. When training time came, the young eagles were pushed to the edge. One by one, they jumped and learned to fly. Some fell briefly and rose again. Some never hesitated at all. Aro stood at the edge many times. His heart beat fast. His wings shook. The ground far below looked unforgiving, and fear whispered, "You are not ready." The elders noticed his hesitation. They did not scold him. They only sighed, "Every eagle flies when the time is right." But Aro felt that time was passing him by. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into seasons. Other eagles explored distant lands and returned with stories. Aro stayed near the cliff, watching. He began comparing himself constantly. Their wings were wider. Their dives were sharper. Their confidence was louder. The forest below seemed to mock him. Even small birds flew freely, without fear. Aro wondered why courage felt so natural to others and so heavy for him. At night, while the stars filled the sky, Aro questioned his worth. Maybe I was born wrong, he thought. Maybe not every eagle is meant to fly far. These thoughts built walls inside him. In old forest legends, fear is described as a shadow. It does not push you. It only convinces you to stop. And Aro had stopped. One morning, something changed the forest forever. A great fire broke out, far away. Smoke rose into the sky, blocking the sun. Animals began to panic and flee. The elders called the eagles together. The forest needed eyes from above. Paths had to be found. Warnings had to be given. Kale flew first, then Mira. Then others followed without hesitation. Aro remained behind. Fear returned stronger than ever. If I fly now and fail, it will be my end, he thought. But another voice spoke quietly inside him. If you do not fly now, who will you become? The elders looked at Aro, not with disappointment, but with calm trust. You do not need to fly far, one said. Just fly. Aro stepped to the edge. His wings trembled. The smoke below made everything unclear. Fear screamed that this was a mistake. But something deeper answered. A quiet strength he had ignored for years. A reminder of why eagles are born facing the sky. Aro jumped. The air rushed around him violently. He fell fast, faster than he ever imagined. Fear took over for a moment. Then instinct followed. Aro spread his wings. Not perfectly, not gracefully, but enough. The air caught him. His fall slowed. His wings held. And suddenly, he was flying. Not high, not fast, but he was flying. The forest below looked different from the sky. Paths appeared where chaos seemed endless before. The fire's edge was visible. Animals looked small and helpless. Aro followed the smoke carefully. His wings burned with effort. Fear was still there, but it was quieter now. Each movement strengthened him. He found a narrow river that still flowed, a safe path animals could follow. Aro cried out loudly, a sharp eagle call. Others heard and followed. By the time the older eagles returned, something had changed. Aro was still in the air, tired, shaking, but flying, and the forest was safer because of him. No one celebrated loudly. There was no grand praise. But the elders nodded with respect, and Aro felt something new. Not pride, not victory, but clarity. Fear had not disappeared, but it had lost its power. Aro learned that courage is not absence of fear. It is action despite fear. In the weeks that followed, Aro practiced daily. Some days were hard. Some days he failed, but he never returned to the cliff with regret. He noticed something important. The eagles he admired also struggled. They also got tired. They also doubted themselves sometimes. Comparison had lied to him. It showed him only the surface, never the effort beneath. Never the fear inside others. As seasons passed, Aro flew farther. Not because he chased greatness, but because he trusted growth. Slow, honest growth. In forest myths, the strongest creatures are not the fastest. They are the ones that adapt, the ones that continue, the ones that rise after hesitation. One day, a young eagle stood at the cliff edge, wings shaking, eyes full of fear. Aro stood beside him. He did not push. He did not lecture. He only said one thing: you don't need to be fearless. You just need to begin. The young eagle jumped, and Aro watched, knowing the truth now. Fear will always exist. In every forest, in every life, in every dream. But fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that something matters. Something is waiting beyond comfort. Something worth becoming. Aro never became the fastest eagle. He never ruled the skies. But he became something greater. It became a free. And if you feel afraid to begin, remember the eagle. If fear tells you that others are ahead, remember Aro growth is not a race. It is a journey that begins with one brave step. After that season, the forest returned to its usual rhythm. Leaves grew again, rivers ran freely, and animals rebuilt their paths. To many, the fire became a memory. But to Aro, it became a turning point. He noticed how his wings felt different now. Not stronger in size, but steadier in movement. He trusted the air more, and the air seemed to trust him back. Some days, fear returned without warning. A sudden gust of wind. A sharp dive that felt too fast. Fear never left completely. But ego learned something important. Fear spoke loudly before growth. It shouted when something new was about to happen. And now, he listened without obeying. He began flying at dawn, when the forest was quiet. When no one was watching. Just him, the sky, and the rising light. During those hours, ego learned patience. He learned that mastery does not come from force. It comes from repetition, from returning even when yesterday was hard. One morning, he noticed a flock of smaller birds struggling below. Strong winds had pushed them off course. They flew in circles, confused and tired. Panic filled their movement. Old Eagle would have watched from a distance. Fear would have told him not to interfere, but something had changed. He lowered himself and cried out. His call was calm, steady, clear. The birds followed the sound. Eagle flew slower than usual, matching their pace, showing them a path through the wind. And together, they reached safety. That day, Eagle understood leadership. Not dominance, not strength, but presence. In legends, true leaders are not always the boldest. They are the ones who stay when others panic. They move forward when others freeze, even if their wings shake. As years passed, Eagle grew into his place in the sky. Young eagles watched him closely. They noticed how he never rushed a leap, how he respected hesitation. When storms came, Eagle did not fight them. He learned to ride them, to let the wind lift him, rather than resist it. Fear had taught him this lesson indirectly. One harsh winter, food became scarce. Competition grew fierce among predators. Younger eagles dove recklessly. Many returned injured. Eagle waited, he observed. He chose wisely instead of quickly, and he survived when others struggled. This was the truth fear never tells. Speed is not always strength. Boldness is not always wisdom. Sometimes, waiting is courage. One evening, Eagle returned to the same cliff where his doubt was born. He stood at the edge, looking down, not with fear now, but with gratitude. This cliff had taught him patience. It had forced him to face himself. It had delayed him for a reason, to prepare him in ways speed never could. In forest stories, elders say fate speaks softly. Only those who wait can hear it. Eagle smiled at this thought. Below him, life moved freely. Animals followed paths shaped long ago. Rivers curved where the land asked them to. Nothing rushed. Everything flowed. Eagle finally understood the lesson hidden in his struggle. He was never meant to compete. He was meant to endure, to guide, to remain. And if you listen closely to the wind today, if you hear a steady cry in the sky, remember this story. Remember the eagle who feared flight. Fear does not mean stop. Fear means the edge of growth is near. Spread your wings gently. The air will meet you halfway.